The courthouse smelled like old paper and disinfectant, the kind of place where hope usually came to die. I sat quietly on the wooden bench, my fingers interlocked with my wife's. Sarah's hand was cold, despite the warm room. She was 7 months pregnant, her body exhausted, her face pale beneath the harsh fluorescent lights. She rested one hand protectively on her stomach, the other gripping mine as if letting go would cause everything to fall apart. Across the aisle sat the woman who had brought us here, Brenda Kensington, president of the Cedar Ridge Homeowners Association. Perfect posture designer blazer, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. 3 weeks earlier, our lives had been peaceful. Sarah had been in the front yard that morning, kneeling in the soil planting flowers. She'd always loved gardening. She said it made her feel closer to our unborn daughter, like she was already building something beautiful for her. I was working inside when I heard shouting, not loud at first, sharp, angry. I stepped outside just in time to see Brenda marching up our driveway, clipboard tucked under her arm, lips tight with irritation. "These are not approved," she snapped, pointing at the flowers as if they were weapons. Sarah stood up slowly, brushing dirt from her hands. "They're just flowers," she said softly, atunious. I interrupted. "It's your bylaws, Section 5. Only pre-authorized plant species are allowed in visible areas." Sarah looked stunned. "I can remove them." "If no," Brenda said flatly. "You already violated the rules." I stepped forward. "Ma'am, let's calm down. My wife is pregnant." Brenda's eyes flicked to Sarah's stomach with clear disgust. Then she should have known better. She said pregnancy isn't an excuse for ignorance. That was the moment something inside me tightened. But I stayed calm. We thought it would end there. It didn't 4 days later. A thick envelope arrived. Inside was a lawsuit. 43 pages long. Every minor violation we'd supposedly committed since moving in. Trash bin visible too long. Car parked inches over the line. Package on porch overnight. Each line had a fine at the bottom. The total dollar, $67,000. Sarah collapsed when she saw the number. I caught her before she hit the floor. That night, she barely slept. Neither did I over the next weeks. Brenda escalated letters, complaints, threats. She reported Sarah for humming while watering plants, reported me for suspicious behavior because I unloaded groceries. After sunset, the stress started affecting the pregnancy. High blood pressure, chest tightness, early contractions. Twice we rushed to the emergency room. Each time I held Sarah's hand and listened to our baby's heartbeat, wondering how a person could be so cruel over something so small. One evening, I found Sarah sitting in the nursery we were preparing, holding a tiny baby blanket, crying silently. "She wants us to lose everything," she whispered. "Why does she hate us?" I made a promise that night I wouldn't let her win. I documented everything, every letter, every encounter, every word, and I said nothing about who I was. The court date arrived faster than expected. Sarah insisted on coming despite doctors' warnings. "I need to face her," she said. I need to understand why Brenda was already there. Surrounded by HOA board members who whispered as we walked past. "She's probably exaggerating the pregnancy," one muttered. Brenda approached Sarah before the hearing started. "You should have obeyed," she said quietly. "Leaning close now, you'll pay for it. Your house, your savings, everything." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Please," she whispered. "The stress, my baby." "I don't care," Brenda replied coldly. "Maybe hardship will teach you respect." The words hung in the air. Something broke inside me. Not my calm, my silence. "All rise," the bailiff announced. The judge had entered. Except he hadn't, I stood up and walked forward. Murmurs rippled through the courtroom as I approached the bench. The bailiff handed me a robe. Brenda's expression shifted from smug to confused to terrified. I put the robe on slowly, My name is Arthur Mitchell, I said evenly. I've served as a county judge for 8 years. Gasps. I took temporary leave 3 months ago due to a personal matter. I looked directly at Brenda. That matter was you. Her lawyer froze. You harassed my wife, threatened her. Ignored medical warnings and moments ago. You told a pregnant woman you didn't care if she lost her child. Sarah sobbed behind me, not in fear now, but relief. I have recordings, I continued, videos, letters. Medical documentation. Brenda tried to speak. I raised a hand. This case will be reassigned immediately. An independent judge will hear it. I removed the robe. This ends today. Judge Rebecca Lawson was known throughout the county for exactly one thing. She had zero tolerance for bullies, no matter how powerful they thought they were, no matter how many titles they carried, no matter how confident they walked into her courtroom that morning. She didn't say a single word as the evidence was placed before her. She read everything slowly, carefully. The threatening letters, the formal notices sent again and again, the recorded complaints that bordered on obsession. Then came the notes, Brenda's own handwriting. Lines where she described Sarah's visible stress as useful pressure. Comments where she acknowledged the pregnancy and continued anyway. Cold, calculated words that revealed intent, not enforcement. The courtroom felt heavier with every page Judge Lawson turned. When Sarah was called to testify, the room fell completely silent. No whispers, no shuffling. Even the air felt still. I planted flowers. Sarah said softly, her voice trembling but clear. Because I wanted my daughter to come home to something beautiful. She paused, one hand resting gently on her belly. I imagined her one day pointing at them, maybe even touching them. I never imagined flowers could almost cost her life. Several people in the courtroom lowered their eyes. Judge Lawson removed her glasses and pressed her lips together. For a brief moment, she wiped beneath her eyes before regaining her composure. Then she looked directly at Brenda. Mrs. Kensington, she said evenly. Your lawsuit is dismissed in its entirety. Brenda exhaled sharply, relief washed over her face. But it lasted less than a second. You are permanently removed from your position as HOA president. The color drained from Brenda's face. You are banned from holding any leadership role in any homeowners association within this county. Her lawyer jumped to his feet. Your Honor, you may sit down. Judge Lawson snapped, silencing him instantly. She continued, her voice steady but unyielding. You are ordered to pay $150,000 in damages for emotional distress, medical costs, and punitive accountability. Brenda's mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. You terrorized a pregnant woman. Judge Lawson said you ignored documented medical risk. And you expressed indifference toward the well-being of an unborn child. She leaned forward, her eyes unwavering. This is not punishment, she said calmly. This is accountability. A restraining order followed. No contact, no proximity. No excuses. All proceedings would be entered into public record. Failure to comply would authorize asset seizure. Brenda's legs gave out as she collapsed in her chair. For the first time, she looked exactly like what she was, powerless. Outside the courthouse, sunlight hit Sarah's face as she leaned against me. Exhausted but safe, her hand rested on her belly. Our daughter kicked strong, alive, unbroken. Justice hadn't shouted, it hadn't threatened. It hadn't needed to, justice had been quiet. Measured and exact, let's see who's the boldest.